3, 2, 1. We're ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special Star Wars edition of the Open Bar Review. We're not at Rip Rocks, we're on a fucking Knopp's casting couch in his fucking dirty-ass apartment. We literally just got out of Rogue One about 20 minutes ago. Also, Joseph, our director.
Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, is a cut-together collection of scenes. Vaguely follows the story of Jyn Erso, played by Felicity Jones. At the start of the movie, her father, Galen, played by Mads Mikkelsen, is taken by the Empire and coerced into helping them build the Death Star. Several years later, he's sent like a transmission about how to destroy it, and she needs to be involved for whatever reason. They needed Felicity Jones to get Forrest Whitaker to not kill them and tell them where the guy was.
Can we talk about Forrest Whitaker for a second here? Just the way he...
We don't need to talk about Forrest Whitaker!
We need to talk about Forrest Whitaker.
Now, Forrest Whitaker gave the worst performance of his career in this movie. But, finish talking about the fucking plot if you have anything else to say.
Darth Vader makes a pun.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
You guys thought Jar Jar ruined Star Wars. No. Jar Jar Binks was an entirely different character. George Lucas was trying something new. Didn't work. Had some cameo appearances in the next two movies. Darth Vader making a pun. That ruined Star Wars.
Character assassination within a line.
The 15-second no is better than the 2-second pun.
I wanted to start this review off with sort of a game reminiscent of something from Red Letter Media.
We never resemble Red Letter Media.
Never.
Pick any one of these three characters I'm about to mention. Jyn Erso, Bodhi, or Cassian. And please define for me their character without listing their occupation or their physical appearance.
The game from The Phantom Menace, Mr. Plinkett review.
Yeah.
This is a lot easier. I mean, these guys do have character traits.
Weren't two-dimensional, but they're 3 dimensions with like little bumps.
Jyn Erso loves her father. She's a very, very conflicted character.
We don't see that relationship at all.
Well, no, we don't. They do have characteristics. These were very strong characters, and all their scenes were taken away.
Okay, so in the end result, they weren't strong characters.
Yeah.
So in the end result, they were strong characters in a movie that we didn't get to see.
Was it that bad? Have they re-edited it? Like, is this what the good parts of it are?
We learned in May Rogue One needed reshoots. The thing about Hollywood rumors, if they're about movies and they're about troubled productions, they're almost always true. If they're about who Chris Pratt is fucking instead of his wife, that whatever.
Find out next week about that one.
The rumor had it that Disney executives were not pleased with Gareth Edwards' cut of the movie. It wasn't testing well. They were going to reshoot 40% of the movie. That was the number, was that 40% of this movie had to go. And then Disney came out and said, no, we didn't do any test screenings. We just want to touch it up a bit. This is a completely normal part of the filmmaking process. That's the money quote. There's an anonymous quote from a Lucasfilm executive saying, this is a completely normal part of the movie-making process. They were still shooting in, like, the summer. They apparently planned to do that. Disney was very clearly lying about what was going on in this movie.
They kept on advertising Forrest Whitaker's in this movie. Yeah. Barely. Literally barely. It's only half of them. But,
he's got that Immortan Joe thing going on where he's like...
You know who he reminded me of his character from Battlefield Earth.
Well, jeez. You want a guy who wouldn't pass the Phantom Menace character trait test.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker's character as an extremist on the rebellion side who wouldn't even work with the Rebel Alliance because he was too extreme. He's on for a minute of screen time and then refuses to leave an exploding building.
Yeah, why did he refuse to leave?
I have no idea.
They didn't give it any explanation.
Cassian I don't know if they were trying to make him seem like Han Solo, but in his opening scene, he just murders someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his character.
They
But,
never
like,
go into that.
Han
It's just-
killed someone who was going to kill him.
Yeah,
he just killed someone.
Yeah.
He killed someone because he was probably under orders to do it. And that's something that Gareth Edwards said he was going for with this movie, was to try and blur the line between good and evil a little bit. Felicity Jones had the line about, oh, you were just following orders. There definitely were hints of it in there. There were a lot of hints in this movie that it used to be good, but then it had 40% of it cut out.
Good thing though that I like the droid.
Yeah, the
Useful
droid.
C-3PO, whose name escapes me.
Brody, right?
No, that was the pilot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bodhi.
Bodhi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any character traits for him.
We should probably talk about the fact this is just a horribly edited movie in general.
Yeah,
Oh
let's start at the beginning. This movie reminded me of Suicide Squad. It reminded me of Warcraft. It reminded me of Fantastic Four from last year.
Some of
Oh
our worst
God, I
movies.
forgot about that movie.
In the first 5 minutes of this movie, we jump between like 10 different locations.
This is another one of those movies where there are no establishing shots. They don't feel like they had room. This is another movie where, a lot like Suicide Squad, you have the here's a character, now here's a character, now here's a character. Even in the prequels, they spend like half an hour on Naboo.
Yeah.
Like it's an actual location where things happen.
It's just a fucking rush job. You don't spend time on locations, you don't even really get to spend time with the characters.
Yeah.
Near the end of the movie, one of the Asian guys, who they don't really bother giving a character, says to Felicity Jones, good luck, little sister. And it reminded me of Suicide Squad, and that, like, we haven't really seen them become a family. Like, these people have been hanging out for, like, 3 or 4 days tops.
That was, I think, the first shot where it was just the two of them when he says that.
Those are literally the first words that they speak to each other directly.
Cassian and Felicity Jones, like, I guess, become a thing at the end of the movie.
Well, what I didn't get with that was it went immediately from, like, they hated each other to, I'm joining you on this.
Their first interaction is him not wanting her to have a weapon because she's going to shoot him. And their next interaction is she's about to die. Oh no!
We should probably get to the CGI characters.
We should probably
Jesus
get to
Christ.
cartoon Grand Moff Tarkin.
Looked like a wonderful character from Mass Effect.
Grand Moff Tarkin, who was the admiral in charge of the Death Star in the original Star Wars. They wanted him to be a part of the movie. The actor's dead, so they digitally recreated him. I wanted to run out of the theater in fear. The more I think about it, the more I think Darth Vader was probably definitely a cartoon in this movie as well. Darth Vader makes a pun in this movie.
I was literally like shouting "What the fuck" in the theater after that.
We were very bad moviegoers.
I could see the row in front of us just every few minutes, just, I hate these people behind us. I got this feeling once we left there was just this resentment towards us.
We should have been kicked out of this theater. This
I would have
was
been glad
not,
to have been kicked out of that bullshit movie.
I would have felt contentment.
You would get just like 5 minutes of nonsense, and then suddenly there would be this gorgeous shot that's totally in line with what I expected and hoped this movie would be.
I mean, I still think all the Vietnam shots were great.
The shots of the Death Star in atmosphere, and the explosions.
The explosions were so well done.
They were really cool.
Yeah. Like,
the visual elements in this, like the ones they did right, they did very, very well.
and like you can see Gareth Edwards' influence in
Yeah,
this.
definitely.
And that this used to be a good movie at
It's
one
in there,
point.
somewhere.
Every line in the first trailer, this is a rebellion, I rebel, then it had, what will you do if they catch you, that whole thing, that very high-stress trailer that I loved watching that trailer, and that's all gone.
Would you want to see a Rogue 2?
I would love to see a Rogue One director's cut. Apparently they didn't make music for the movie until it was already butchered. So
Literally, they could just sync the original trilogy music over this and it would be better.
yeah, the music was awful.
It was so forgettable.
It was just this constant drone.
The opening music was the one that got me with that. Wow! I'm watching a Disney movie now. I know that. from the sound of this movie. This is a Disney movie. It's not a Star Wars movie. Disney.
The re-edits were supposed to make it feel more like Star Wars. And they were talking about how you go 1 inch to the right or 1 inch to the left and it doesn't feel like Star Wars anymore. This did not feel like Star Wars at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. Last call, guys. Leo, how many beers would you give Gareth Edwards for this movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie that he made yet.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't have had Darth Vader make a fucking pun, though.
Back to Knopp saying he didn't make this movie. Disney did, but...
How many beers would you buy Disney?
I would buy beers just so I could throw the bottles at them. I would buy 10 beers. Well, I guess it would have to be like a 12-pack or something, just so I could throw bottles at Disney.
Don't take this the wrong way. I would buy Gareth Edwards 5 beers, but only because I think he needs them.
Paul had 8 shots going into this. Smelled like a fucking distillery and was bothering everyone around us. And he couldn't handle this movie.
Yeah, I was still confident
He was 8 drinks in
to hate this movie.
I would... There is no amount of alcohol that could make me sit through this fucking schlock.
I would need enough that I would pass out and be wheeled off to a hospital far away from this movie.
How much alcohol would you need?
More than 8 drinks. As always, Paul Wedding, Leopold Knopp, Joseph Rosenzweig, Leo's Apartment, Star Wars, Rogue One. Cheers.